Sacred Heart leading Mount St. Mary's in a seesaw first half here at Knott Arena. Along with Paul Dottino and Terry O'Connor, Dave Popkin with you. We're being joined now by Ryan Peters, our buddy from Big Apple Buckets, a Sacred Heart alum, but you live closer to Mount St. Mary's, and you've seen both of these teams a lot, and we've seen some exciting stuff already tonight.
Yeah, it's been very up and down, a lot of turnovers. Mount Mayhem, as you would call it around here. Sacred Heart, you know, they have to be a little more careful with the ball. They turned the ball over a lot in the first half of their last matchup, and it led to a big lead for Mount St. Mary's. Right now, you're seeing the same thing happening, and Sacred Heart, in my opinion, is fortunate to be tied or be up one at this point.
Anthony Latina in his second year, and you follow the program so closely, and clearly on the way up. They only won 5 games last year. They've already won 5 in league play, 11 overall this season.
Yeah, it's a deeper team this year. They had a couple players they inserted into rotation, and Kane Broom and Jordan Allen, and they've been the difference. They've filled some critical roles for this team. Kane's a shot maker. He could create off the bounce. He could generate offense on his own. Jordan has a great inside presence. You add those two guys with this current rotation they have, and it's a pretty good, competitive roster.
Right now, they'd be the last team in the NEC tournament. The top 8 teams make it. Great look from Smithers. Now Krajina. Christian Krajina has been a factor. The senior from Croatia with a couple dunks and a nice post move.
Well, they had no answer, Sacred Heart, defensively against Krajina down low. And Smithers, as you make a great behind the back look right there.
Ryan, Andrew Smithers just came back from a month on the shelf, and he missed another month at the start of the season. So this might be the best player in this league that nobody's seen yet.
That's correct. Yeah, he's a kid who could shoot it from the outside, but he also could trade off the dribble. He has great length for a wing in this league. You know, it's very tough to guard a guy who's 6'7", 6'8" when he's playing the 3 or 4 in this league for sure.
Smithers just came out as Jamian Christian makes more changes. Graves will play with Nwandu, Ash, Krajina, and Glover. Tied at 26.5 left in the first half. And another turnover. Who are you looking at right now for NEC Player of the Year?
I think right now Jalen Cannon has to be the pick. I mean, he's been incredible over the last 2 weeks, but he leads the league in double-doubles. He's only the second player in NEC history to have 1,500 points and 1,000 rebounds. He's just an incredible player. It's been a great 4-year career for him, so I think right now he's a hands-down favorite.
Cannon for the first place St. Francis Brooklyn Terriers, and St. Francis was picked to win the league. They have never won the league. They've never been to the NCAA tournament, but it's looking like it could be their year.
I believe so. I picked them in the preseason. You know, they have not only Jalen Cannon, but they have Brent Jones, who, in my opinion, is the second best player in the league right now. What he's been doing at the point guard position has been terrific. And Glenn Brega has some really athletic pieces.
Davon Barnett able to hit it before the shot clock expires.
He has some really athletic pieces to work around Cannon and Jones. Andy Falls, the leading shot blocker in the league. Tyreek Jules, a really tough, hard-nosed guard who could get the rim at will. It's a pretty talented team.
And Graves is fouled on his way to the bucket. Chris Robinson, the freshman, got him.
We've got some good-looking freshmen in this conference so far. How do you look at the class of freshmen in the NEC?
Oh, well, I think the NEC is a conference on the rise. Right now, of the top 25 scorers in the conference, 12 of them are underclassmen. You compare that to last year when only 2 of the top 25 were underclassmen, and the year before that, only 4 were in the top 25. So you're seeing some great players like Marquise Reed for RMU. He's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. But then Kane Broom is one of the best freshmen in the league, too. And Junior Robinson here tonight as well. He's a lightning quick 5'5" guard. You know, we're seeing evidence of that tonight. It's just, I think this league in 1 or 2 years is going to be on the rise because of the young talent right now.
Well, the assistant coaches in the conference are going to be real happy with you for those comments because they're the guys that are out there, you know, hardship, right? Going to Poland and going to Europe to see some of these players. But a lot of them do play in prep schools here in the country. So they might say where they came from, but they actually saw them here in the States.
Absolutely. A lot of these kids, a lot of them are under the radar. You know, I think of Davon Barnett. The only offer he got was Sacred Heart, and he played a year in prep school. But there are other guys who are more highly recruited. Kane Broom had a lot of interest. Marquise Reed, I just mentioned, had a lot of offers, but he chose Andy Toole's program. I think it's a little bit of both. You find the under-the-radar gems, and then you also, the coaches are recruiting better, too. They're getting the higher-class kids.
Jalen Cannon, who will probably be the player of the year, as you mentioned, is one of those guys. He wasn't recruited by pretty much anybody. It was his only Division I offer, and he's turned out to be one of the best players in league history. Nwandu finding Glover, and he traveled.
Another one of those unforced turnovers. But I think because they have the chance to play, you go to a bigger program, you sit, you don't really develop. You come to a mid-major program where you're thrust in right away, and you have 4 years to play, and all that practice time, maybe a trip overseas in between, off-season workouts, you can see the progress of players.
I completely agree, Terry. That's the one thing that gets these kids excited to go to a school like Sacred Heart or Robert Morris or LIU Brooklyn. It's a chance to play right away and play big-time minutes.
Sacred Heart up 2 with the basketball, and a reach-in foul on Khalid Nwandu.
That's a great matchup, defense, offense there. I mean, Broom can handle it. You know he likes to go to the basket, and Nwandu saying, you're not going by me to the basket.
Ryan Peters is with us from Big Apple Buckets. Any other trends that you're seeing right now in the league?
You know, right now it's a race to get a home game in the NEC tournament. We found out, you know, based on the short history of this league, you need a top 4 seed to win the tournament. Mount St. Mary's last year was a 4. They had 1 home game in the first round, and then they won 2 road games. It's very difficult to win 3 road games. So right now we're seeing about 7 teams are in play. Sacred Heart has a really remote chance, but there's 7 teams in play to get a home game, and I think that's what people are watching right now.
Gregory Graves with a chance for a 3-point play, his second bucket. Graves, the junior, will be going to the line after this timeout. Ryan, always good to see you. We'll talk to you again down the line.
It was a pleasure, Dave, Terry. I had fun.
All right, that's Ryan Peters from Big Apple Buckets. We're tied at 22 here in Emmetsburg.